first ever Boom Disc Golf Solo Challenge for the Claws. Here we are at hole 1, approximately 250 feet straight shot. I'm also here with a good pal of mine, Mr. Beatty is here as we watch Taylor rifle up a good backhand to right about circle's edge.
Right low. Yeah, there's kind of two ways to approach it. You can kind of go straight at it, keep it low, hit the ground, or some people will take the forehand and kind of crash it right by the basket.
Tony goes for another backhand straight at it and hyzers out a little bit left. Chris is on the box. Looks like he's taking that forehand route. And he pushes right up near the basket, probably about 15 feet away. We got the whole card for each card at the tournament here, watching Isaac throw a nice backhand straight at it and hyzers out just a little bit as well, just like Tony. And we're off. The players are walking up to their lies, communicating to each other who's going to go first. Looks like Isaac will be first to putt. Going through his routine, he steps up. Pushes the putter in just a little bit right of the basket.
A little low, a little right. All right, now we got Taylor. A little left. A little early release, I'm guessing.
Bringing up the man Chris. Sets his mini. Checks the wind. Goes through his routine. And he steps up. Trying to cash the card's first birdie. And he does. Bringing Tony up to try to match him. Keep pace, and he does. Card the birdie. Let's see if the rest of the card can clean up their pars. Taylor cashes his. Good release. Bringing Zuba up to about a 15-foot par. And he cashes it as well. And the card is off to hole number 2. Here in the first ever solo challenge for the Claws. Hole 2 here is about a 200-foot shot. And Beatty will tell you how to get after it.
There's a simple approach, throwing a straight or slightly stable putter right down the middle, missing those two trees. That left tree can really catch a lot of discs, and ending up there will give you a long putt. Going deep will bring that last tree in. I've seen everyone go deep have to work around that tree. So a lot of people will take that spike forehand approach to avoid everything pretty much and kind of get up on the hill. Otherwise, a lot of people will take the straight shot with a putter.
Just like Tony took here, the straight shot, and he's up there.
He's up there, nice and open.
All right. Looks like Chris is up next here, going through his routine, getting comfortable on the box, as you should at every box before you throw. Healthy habits lead to a good throw. So here comes Chris.
Looks like he's taking the forehand approach.
Oh no,
Ooh,
the
little
wind.
misfire.
The wind can be a little hectic here at Wales. It comes and goes. Big gusts. Looks like it got underneath that one a little bit. Taylor takes a nice high Anheuser flexing shot. Nice.
Looks like that just settled right up in there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, here comes Zuba. Boom. There it goes.
Fine approach. Takes it a bit wider to compensate. A little deep. That's going to bring that last tree into play for the putt.
A common thing you'll see here on hole 2 at Wales. And the card is off to their lies. Chris is first to act. The card helped him find his lie as he did slice off a little bit early right. Maybe it was a misfire, maybe it was the wind, but he's got to salvage this par right here with a good upshot. Locating where he can place his mini and get his footwork down. Good stance. I think he finds his line. Double checking a couple things. Maybe there's some rubbish under his feet that are making him uncomfortable. Happy feet, happy throw. Here we go. Going through a couple pumps. Approaching the 32nd, he releases, and the roll away is getting a little bit tough.
That's bringing that deep tree into play again.
Yeah.
That tree is tricky.
This basket is on an incline, so the disc angle when you land your disc is really important. Can turn into a rollaway pretty
Runaway
easily.
putts and push-throughs can definitely do that.
Here comes Tony off a pretty nice backhand drive, about circle edge, and he drains it. Great release, great height, good putt. Taylor quick to act as well, and maybe just
Pushes
a little
through
too
those
quick.
chains. Yeah, some of these baskets here have very light chains, and you have to make up for it by kind of doing more of a softer putt and putt lower so it doesn't have enough time to push through.
Taylor with a little bit too much heat on that one. Will definitely show what those chains can do here as Isaac steps up for his birdie look, and he just hyzers out a little bit too early. And here comes Chris.
Just off the top.
Tell us about a time in the comments when you've had that happen to you. I'm sure we'll see many stories.
There's a lot of different types of baskets. You got the flat bands with the clink, and then you got the ones with the ramp, have those sailed, and then you got these ones which will kind of just sit right there.
No man really at all. Zuba comes in and cashes his par. Great putt. Good confidence builder coming into the bomber hole of hole 3 as Taylor just taps in his par, and so does Chris. Tony with the only birdie here going into hole 3, taking the stroke lead.
Hole 3, really, if it's windy, this is a hole that you'll really feel it because you got a downhill around 410 feet. Definitely can have the wind play a factor. The start of this round, wind wasn't really blowing. It kind of picked up towards the later half of round 1. So the wind shouldn't be doing too much here. So they should be able to do what they want.
But still got to keep a good disc angle, as this hole can definitely make you want to go for the President Eagle, as we do play this as a par 4. Tony with the first shot. Rifles one down there as he hyzers out a little bit left, which is a common place for most people to land. OB is other fairway. Taylor comes in and he rifles a shot, and he's got the right angle and the right distance to put Zuba up as he comes off a little bit early and comes right of the fairway, about 80 feet away. And here comes Chris. taking the backhand approach, pushes one out there, hits the fairway pretty well, gets a pretty nice skip, and is about circle 2. Zuba taking a nice soft approach and gets up there about 20 feet. And Chris is next to act, laying it up for the good, easy birdie. Bringing Tony up to what could be a pretty far circle 2 look for eagle, and he almost cashes it, slightly hyzered out before he could touch the chains. And as Taylor steps up to what looks to be about a 25 to 30 foot putt here to maybe take a couple strokes, and he does.
Solid putt.
Big time eagle there for Taylor. Let's see if Zuba here can get the good old birdie, and he does. Very nice putt, Zuba. Tony's next to get his birdie, and he does. Again, these baskets do not make it easy on these players. They have a few newer baskets on a couple holes, but most of the holes here at Wales have been there for a very long time, well over a decade. So we got 3 birdies and an eagle.
3 birdies and eagle on hole 3.
Here we go, Ryan. Let's get it going. Going into hole 4.
This one's really nice because you got a hill leading up to the basket, so you can kind of throw directly in the hill and have it slide up right to the basket, is what I've seen most players do.
Tony takes a pretty straight shot as well, hyzered out right up there next to the second to the left tree by the basket. As Taylor takes the hyzer route as well, skips up on the base of the hill where you'll see a lot of players land. Zuba takes a forehand, and he rifles one up there as well, right next to Taylor. Here comes Chris. Taking his time, rifles one up there. Good hyzer route. And he
should be right up there.
Parks it. Right up there, Beatty. What a shot, huh? That's got to be a contender for shot of the day later on. Let's see. There's a lot of holes left.
There's a lot of holes. A lot of birdies.
Okay, here comes Taylor, trying to feed off the eagle. And the energy is right there with him as he cashes it. Just outside circle 1, big uphill putt. The card was electrified. You could tell by some of the players' reactions. They were pretty hyped up for him, as was he. Here comes Zuba, trying to match the energy, and just a little bit left. Good sportsmanship there by Chris with Taylor, as he knows that was a big putt.
Uphill is always difficult, especially if the wind's testing you.
Yeah, it looks to be pretty sunny, too. You never know what that sun's going to do to your eye,
That's very true.
Well, Tony's trying to mark his lie. Looks like he's going to have to... looks like he's getting down on one knee, straddling out. Trying to maybe sneak one in there for a birdie himself. He just pushes it a little left. Should have a decent spot for his par. As Zuba steps up, as he's just outside of Chris still, who parked it earlier with an outstanding shot, is setting up here. Excuse me, they actually agreed that Tony was a little bit outside of Zuba, and that pushed Tony to card his par with a nice stroke with his putter. And unfortunately, Zuba hits front tray a little
misrelease.
as he'll take the bogey, unfortunately, here. Chris going through his routine. The wind is picking up. You could see it on his shirt. Oh, a little wobbly there, but he gets the birdie. Like Ryan was saying, the wind can really play a factor in a lot of decisions and, releases and just your overall confidence here at Wales. Now, going into hole 5, we have a nice 265-foot shot where the county park likes to keep that middle rough section there to be able to show you both the backhand and the forehand fairway. And what a nice first shot. By Taylor, and he's up there near circle 1 as Chris takes a backhand approach and is probably just outside circle 1. And here comes Tony, pushing a nice hyzer disc up there inside circle 1. Zuba taking the forehand approach, might have just turned it over a little bit. Could have been the wind, huh, Ryan?
Could have been. Like I said, first half of round 1 wasn't blowing too bad, but the second half is where it really picked up. At least is what I noticed.
Zuba setting up his birdie putt, takes a nice high floating hyzer in.
Close, good bid though. Alright, Chris stepping up. A little bit early, faded out.
You could tell he really wanted that one off.
Yeah, keep following it up. A lot of the holes here, birdie seems like the only option. So missing it on an open hole. Good putt from Tony.
Big birdie for Tony. Good confidence builder. Here comes Taylor for his birdie.
Those can really hurt. You can see him contemplating that little short putt. Got to move on from those and move on to the next hole. Birdie the next one.
Yep. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles here on hole 5 as we card 3 pars. And Tony Costa, the legend, carding the only birdie. As Ryan was saying, a lot of these holes are birdie or die in a sense because there are some really good players here really trying their hardest to win. And they know that a lot of these holes are open. And it's not like the typical Milwaukee holes. As you look here at hole 6, another open hole. People in Milwaukee, in the Milwaukee area, there's a lot of wooded holes, a lot of technical fairways. And so when we come to Wales, it's pretty much just like, practice. And
more distance control, and the putting green here will really test you. Especially if the wind decides to pick up on the lighter chain baskets, it can be harder to push one in from deep.
As Tony takes another good hyzer up there, just a little bit past the basket with a great run inside circle 1. Chris with another big hyzer gets just right on the edge of the circle. And here comes Taylor, taking a nice big
straight shot
penny putter up there inside circle 1. Zuba as well with the backhand, and he goes a little bit deep to the right.
A little deep to the right. Those pine trees can really restrict your height for your putt if you manage to get behind or under one of them.
The players are setting their minis and communicating to each other who's going to putt first. As they agree, Zuba is out. Zuba will be first to act for his birdie. Looks to be about a 45-foot putt.
Good height, just a little bit to the right.
He had a good release on that one. It definitely looked like he was giving a good effort on that. Chris is next to act, going through his routine. I would say
Little
with
misfire.
The wind misfire.
Could have been. Wind can really amplify any mistakes and putt. A little bit of nose up will allow the wind to get underneath it and lift it up.
That didn't happen to Taylor's putt. He just cashed
sir.
that birdie.
So This is one of those nice baskets that you can really feel confident pushing in a harder putt.
Especially if you hit center pole.
Center pole, yep. There's a lot of heavier chains on these baskets.
Chris knows he needs to cash this for the par to keep up with the card. And he does. Just sinks it in there. Zuba sets his mini. And he hits it a little high on the band, but the chains do their job, and the putter does its job as well and sets down into home. And Tony cashes his park job birdie, taking us right on over to hole 7, where Ryan will tell you how to attack it.
The easiest route here is a spike hyzer. There's a hill right to the right of the basket. You can kind of crash into there, and you can have a nice short uphill putt. Some people who prefer the forehand will have to push it off to the left to kind of avoid going downhill in that little crevice next to the basket. Oh, that's the next hole, isn't it?
Yeah, it's okay. We can definitely edit that one out.
Oh, no, that's all good.
Hole 7 is here.
Hole 7. Nice. Yeah, this one will restrict the hyzer. So opposite of what I just said. You can pull in a nice flip up backhand, or do a stock hyzer forehand to crash right up next to this basket.
And here comes Tony. Taking his time. Gets good footwork. Good release.
Just hope those trees don't get into play. It pushes deep through the trees.
About circle 1 edge, if not circle 2. And here comes Taylor.
Keeping it nice and low.
Again,
right up in there.
Just right on the edge of the circle. Here comes Chris. Getting good footwork. Good release. Low underneath the ceiling.
Right up in there. Nice ground play too. Slow it down real quick.
That's what you call a bullseye. Bringing Zuba, taking the forehand approach. Gets a good flight out of her. And
pushes it a little deep, but that's putting.
It's right by Tony's and Taylor's. Taylor looks over at Tony and gives him the go-ahead. Tony going through his process, his routine here. Big birdie opportunity from circle 2, and he
just over the top. You really want them when they go right over, willing to push it far enough.
As you can see, this is one of the newer baskets here on the course. It's at hole 7. Zuba fires and unfortunately hits the tree again. Taylor taking his time, goes through his routine and
sinks it.
Boom! Right in the basket. Big bird for Birdhouse. Here we go. Feeling the energy, feeling the flow, and letting the good times roll. Here comes
Bit
Tony.
of a comebacker.
That tester.
Pushes just a little wide. Chains weren't enough to keep it in.
He definitely had some heat on there. Let's hear about a time in the comments when that's happened to you. When you think, wow, I did everything I could to make it. And it just pops out. Chris going through his routine. Cards the birdie.
Chains doing their job.
Keeping up with Taylor. As Zuba taps in his par and Tony taps in, unfortunately, a bogey. Taking us over here to hole 8, where Beatty will tell you about it.
Here you got the nice stock hyzer crashing into the hill right to the right of the basket, which will give you a nice uphill putt short. A forehand will bring that hill into play a little bit more, allowing it to get away with a little skip. But if you bring it wide enough left, the forehand still can get you right up in there.
And this is definitely one of the feature holes, as it does have the community park sign right behind it. A tradition for me where I like to fly underneath it. And speaking of flying, here goes Taylor's disc crashing into the hill that Beatty was talking about right by the basket. And he's in circle 1, trying to get a turkey. Chris goes through his routine.
Chris.
Definitely love that he always goes through his routine. Very healthy. I definitely like to do that myself as well, as he takes a nice hyzer route as well. Backhand.
Stability of the disc, keeping that.
Just a little bit short of where Taylor was, but he's in the circle. And here comes Zuba. Pushing it right up by Taylor as he's in the circle as well. Let's see if Tony can get over there. Trying to chase a star frame here. And he's up there right on the upside of the hill. So he'll have kind of a death putt.
It can be.
Especially with the decline, it can make your disc roll, and instead of 20 feet, it can turn into 40, 50 feet.
And uphill.
Yep. Chris goes through his routine. Trying to keep pace here with Taylor and the rest of the card. He pushes it up and cashes it. Thought it was a little hyzered out, but man, did it sink in there, huh?
Keeping the speed low to make sure it doesn't push through the lighter chains.
Yeah, as the basket did just change back to the other baskets that they have. What are these baskets called?
The mock, they're the older mocks, I believe. I forget the exact number, though.
Okay. Well, Tony tries to push it in, and he unfortunately hyzers out a little bit to the left, or it was just a little left of where his mark was, and it just pops out. Didn't get much ground play, so he should have a decent comeback for par. Zuba, seeing what happened to Tony, unfortunately it happens to him as well. But thankfully his disc just lies down and it doesn't have any roll away. Taylor needs it and he gets it.
Cashing in, taking a stroke.
On what could be many players out there, this hole can play a little bit of tricks with your eyes from the tee pad, as you want to bomb it but you just can't. I've seen people go long, and I've seen people take too much off, and it doesn't get them up there quite like the way Taylor and Chris did. And Tony, with a nice stroke, cashes his par. Zuba to follow. And we card 2 pars and 2 birdies.
2 birdies.
Coming into the final hole here of the front 9 is a really fun one.
Definitely an ace run. Probably the easiest hole on the front 9. Short, stock forehand, stock hyzer, straight at it with a putter. It gives you all the options that you would want to have to get at the basket.
And it's right next to the pavilion where we did have some community people watching us. They were really nice people. I ended up buying 2 Pokemon discs from me, and the gentleman was deaf, and I had to use my phone to communicate to him. It was really fun. And here goes Taylor.
Going straight at it. Grass slows it down real nice. That'll be a nice putt. You can see Chris feeling the wind, seeing what it's doing.
Gets some good ground play and rolls up there right outside circle 1 edge. Zuba takes a putter and pushes it straight up there into the 20-foot zone.
That'll be another circle putt for birdie.
Here goes Tony as he lands just a little bit outside circle 1. As the card walks up to their lies, I hope you enjoyed the front 9. So far, it has been a battle here on this card, as a lot of these players are 900 rated or just under 900. It is fun to get all levels together to help push their game to newer heights, as each moment can help you learn to be a better disc golfer. And Chris just unfortunately pushes it a little bit too right. Maybe he was thinking the wind would help him hyzer back into the chains, but it just cut right through it and settled down right there in the bullseye area for an easy par. As we come over here to Tony, looks to me as if he's actually in the circle.
It does look to be that way.
Yeah. Taking his time. He makes one.
Solid center putt.
He definitely needed one to go his way, as a few of his putts lately have been popping out. And here comes Taylor. Birdhouse. Carding yet another birdie. As Taylor's heating up going into the back 9. And Zuba, with a good heat up of his own, cashes the birdie.
Tapping in the par for Chris.
And wow, what a front 9 we had, huh, Ryan?
Yes. You can definitely see the wind and or the baskets playing with the putts a little bit, but otherwise the drives have been pretty on point.
Yeah. Speaking of drives, they're going to need a big one here coming into hole 10, as that's just a simple look right there for you. And thanks again for tuning in to Boom Disc Golf's Solo Challenge for the Claws. Thanks again for watching, and hope everybody has a great day.
We'll see you in the back 9.